taken care of, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, my next guest is, this guy came to my house, or Charlotte, I always say my yard, my house, and Charlotte always reminds me it's our house and our yard, right? But he came to our house and was sitting like this. How many of you have gone to a meeting and sat like this on the couch? And, all right, I'm just going to sit here like this. But he sits there, unbeknownst to him, his wife had already put him in, right? And so he's sitting there thinking, oh, man, what am I doing here? But he came up after the presentation and he says, now tell me about the money. And when he said that, I said, yes, because I knew he got it. So without further ado, I'm going to bring up the leprechaun himself from Vegas, Mr. Robbie White.
The leprechaun from Vegas. I mean, what the heck?
Still got on green.
I still got to have on green. Hey, but Jim is right. 10 months ago, at their house, back in August, I sat in their room and I was just like this. And Ann Morton hit it right on the head. You know, I was somebody I didn't think I needed to be there. In all honesty and frankly, what the crap am I doing here? And started listening to the presentation, and I said, oh no, not another one of these things. Okay, but see, I came to a point in my life, and you'll hear me mention it, and some of y'all, a defining moment in your life. You know, Ron talked earlier about like a defining moment in his life, but my wife and I, you know, we were just sick and tired. You've heard the phrase before of being sick and tired. Well, we go to Jim and Shelley's house, and it was interesting, and I asked Jim a couple questions afterwards, and I'll never forget this. We were driving out the neighborhood. I said, you know, this is pretty interesting. We might try this. And she starts laughing. She says, I've already ordered product and we're in. I said, what are you talking about? I was doing that. But you know, the biggest thing for me, and y'all, you know, I'm very passionate and inspired about this product, Keytopia, because my biggest thing is, I mean, it has changed people's lives. It's changed my life. Okay, you know, the pictures and the banners and you know, post pictures on Facebook. You know, that's flashy, but really, when you get down to it, you know, people's lives are being changed. Okay, in a little bit, I'm going to introduce a great friend of mine. You're going to hear her testimony, and just let me tell you right now, if whenever I'm having a bad day, and you know, just get covered up with the junk of life, man, you hear testimonies like this. I mean, that's what keeps me going. But we all see the banner, and that's great. And unbeknownst to my wife, the other day we took another after picture, because you know, 10 months into it, you know, we're trying to live the great, strict, you know, keto-friendly life like Dom's living. Sometimes we fall into the pattern of Ron, if it's there, I'm going to eat it, you know, just like that. But just want to break out for the first time ever the new version of my wife Allison, our after picture. I just want to go on notice. Hey, I'm in the running for the David Kimberly spot. How about that? No, but you know, this is great, and you know, like I said, this is flashy, and you know how it's changed my life. Just real briefly, because Lynette Nease's testimony is unbelievable. You know, I no longer use androgel because I have more energy. No longer sleep with a CPAP machine. My triglycerides, for the first time in 10 years, back in November, was in the normal range. Okay, just 2 years ago they were 490. Okay, my wife at one time, you know, I get the documentation from my doctor. She said they were as high as 600. And see, my doctor at the time, all he was saying, get off of dairy products. Because I said, why is my triglycerides so high? Dairy products is what he kept preaching to me. Well, imagine me in November when I go and I step on the scale, and man, it said 216, 215. I said, whew, that was normally saying 245, 250. He asked me about my weight loss, and then he saw my triglycerides. And I told him what I was doing. I told him about the product, Keytopia. He's never heard of it. And I said, I've cut out carbs and sugars, and let me tell you what the guy said. Well, you know, it's the carbs and the processed foods that makes your triglycerides high. And I felt like giving him one of these things because you were telling me dairy products my whole life. See, he didn't know. And see, and I've seen it before, and all of y'all know the phrase, you know, there's a reason the world doesn't know about Ketopia, is because simply it didn't exist. So, without further ado, I want to bring up a great friend of mine, Lynette Nease, and I'm going to tell you, y'all, I don't know if y'all remember, but back in January at Salt Lake, when I had mentioned when someone gets up in front of a room and gives their testimony and people start tearing up, to me, that right there, that's priceless. Well, I want to bring up Lynette Nease, my dear friend. Give it up to Lynette Nease.
Well, to start with, I want to say I'm honored to be up here among all these people. And Robbie talks about crying, and he's going to make me cry to start with. I want to tell you a little bit about who I was before I tell you who I am. I will tell you I'm Lynette. I'm 56. I have 3 kids and 8 grandkids, okay? But March of last year, I was 54. And I was recovering from 5 bypass open heart surgery. I was an uncontrolled diabetic. I took up to 6 insulin shots a day. I took about 20 pills a day for various things. My fasting blood sugar, the last time I had it checked while I was taking insulin, my fasting blood sugar was 430. My A1C was 14, if anybody knows what that is. My average blood sugars were running about 500. My cholesterol was uncontrolled. It was about 500 because at one time they thought I had muscular dystrophy and they realized the statins were destroying my muscles. So I couldn't take statins any longer. I had a seizure disorder. My doctor spent 2 years with a barrage of tests to finally tell me you have a seizure disorder and was treating me with Keppra. I had lost 75 pounds last November. No effect on my health whatsoever. Still the same stuff. And I knew, as a heart patient, if I didn't get my blood sugar and my cholesterol and the rest of my body under control, those bypasses weren't going to last very long. I saw Robbie's picture on Facebook, and I knew Robbie and Allison. I wasn't close to them, but I knew them. I knew their family, knew they were great people, and I knew if he was telling me this, it was the truth. And I said, you know, I need to lose another 35 or 40 pounds, so I'm going to contact him. Had absolutely no idea what ketosis was, absolutely no idea what Ketopia was. I just knew I wanted to lose some more weight, right? So I got on the products, and I had been through some rough times, through a divorce, and lost a job. Well, I lost my job 5 days before my open heart surgery. So there were some times when I was going without medication because I didn't have the money to get it. And this was one of those times. I didn't have my anesthesia medicine. And I realized 2 weeks into this, I wasn't having seizure activity. And I was having up to 8 to 10 episodes a day.
Wow.
I did not know until Shally said this in one of her meetings that a ketogenic diet is the way that seizure disorders used to be treated, okay? I had never heard that before. I went through 2 years of testing with my neurologist. I never heard, why don't you try a ketogenic diet? I went back to my cardiologist for my 1-year checkup. He was amazed. He said, Lynette, it's amazing. I don't know what you're doing. And I said, I'm living a ketogenic lifestyle. And I proceeded to tell him the things that were going on with me. Before I go there, let me tell you, when I went back to my diabetic doctor, my blood sugars, my fasting blood sugar, I'm no longer taking insulin, is 95. This is my cholesterol is under 200. I'm no longer taking anti-seizure medication, and I no longer have seizure activity. As long as I stay in ketosis, and I know that this is true because in February, I started in November, I stayed in ketosis until February. I got a stomach bug. Well, you know, when you get a stomach bug, what do? You feed it with carbs, right, to make you feel better. So all weekend I had carbs. Tuesday morning at work, I started having spells. I had 3 spells before lunch. kitchen and I had a ketonics drink, I haven't had a spell since. And I've stayed in ketosis since. If I have something I'm not supposed to have, I have a ketonics drink. Because I know that I have to stay here. When I was talking to my cardiologist, I said, you know, why would my neurologist not tell me about this, you know? And he said, Lynette, he probably doesn't know. And you need to educate your doctors. And this is so true because my diabetic doctor, when I told him I was no longer taking insulin and I was doing great, this is what he said to me. You need to take your insulin and eat some carbs. And I was like, why? Why would I do that? Because you're a diabetic and you need to take your insulin, just eat some carbs. No, you know, these products have not only improved my lifestyle, they've improved my life expectancy. Okay? My cardiologist told me I'll have 25 years on my heart if I keep this up, on my bypasses. That's great. That's great news to me. You know, I want to thank you for following your vision and your dreams because it has literally saved my life.
Folks, let me tell you something. That right there, Ron talked about inspiration. We're changing lives. That is my, I mean, that's ingrained in me. Okay? And just think about this, for the new guests here, you know, you may be like, you know, like I was 10 months ago, with your arms crossed and, you know, why am I here? You know, I like to say, you know, this is not a fad or a gimmick. It's not about skinny, it's about healthy.
That's right.
Okay? And, you know, in about a month ago in Greenville, we went to the Bridge Bash meeting, and I kind of I'm going to share some stuff with you from my heart, because I firmly believe when you speak from your heart. Ron gave his Forever Green speak and his talk, and he touched on it today. And he talked about, and it reminded me, he talked about when his phone went from ringing 80 times a day to 0 times a day. And I don't know if you remember, but he said he went back to his neighborhood playground, and it was a surreal moment for him, a defining moment in his life. Okay, and if I'm correct in saying, I think that's when Forever Green was founded. It's true. I got my facts right. So, and I told him it reminded me of a book that I read about 12 years ago. It's called Halftime. And it's about changing your game plan for life from success to significance. You know, what are we doing to be significant? You know, what is our legacy going to be? Okay? Defining moment in your life today, all through our lives, we've had those moments. And I just want to share with you, you know, I've had them back. August was you know, I keep saying the defining moment, but I just want to share with you a major moment in my life. That shaped me to hopefully what I've done since then. When I was 18 years old, my mother passed away. Okay? And in her final words to me, she said, she had written in a note, and she said, "You will succeed because you're a winner. I love you." And just let me say this, let's extrapolate 3 words from that comment. Success, winner, and love. Love is the premise of what Forever Green was founded on. Man, I love the fact that we're here, we're 99.9% of us have the same common mission. You know, I think we should tell the world about our products, especially Keytopia. I tell Lynette all the time, man, Lynette, we need to tell the world your story. Okay? We have a winner in Keytopia. And not only Keytopia, but the other products as well. And you know what? Not only do we have a winner in Ron, but he's a champion. You know, we've got a guy leading this company. I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, just like Kent said, you know, when you think of a corporate CEO, publicly traded company, I remember meeting him for the first time back at the regional in the trade center. You know, I was expecting this guy with a suit to come in saying, hey, I'm the guy. No, here he comes walking in, dressed like that with his backpack on. I said, man, this guy's all right. And I didn't know him back then. I know him a little better now. I mean, he's a champion. And the last one is success. You know, you've heard me before say, you know, everybody has different definition of success. You know, what's your definition? Some people, it might be a lot of money, the big house, the boats, the cars, you know, but really and truly, it's never enough if that's all you're focusing on. My definition of success, and y'all have heard me say it before, is doing the best I can with what I have right now with a great attitude. That's it. Everything else will fall into place. Winston Churchill said, we make a living by what we get. We make a life by what we give. Okay? And I just want to encourage everybody to go out there. Let's tell the world about Keytopia. Okay? Let's define our significance. Okay? Continue to live the dream. And let's go change people's lives. Okay? Thank you very much. Thank you.